عباده الذين اصطفى لا سيما حبيبنا المصطفى صلى الله عليه وسلم. أحبتي في الله، نعيش مع كتاب الله. And today, my dear brothers and sisters, we'll address the major theme in Surah Ali Imran. As we highlighted on the major theme of Surah Al-Baqarah, which introducing the new nation and giving them the manhaj, the method that they should follow. And that was explained in Surah Al-Baqarah. And in order to practice that manhaj, you need tools that will make you maintain that manhaj and stay fast on that manhaj. And those tools being introduced in this surah, Surah Ali Imran. Surah Ali Imran, when you read it, you learn how you should hold firmly in your deen. How you could have the path and you stayed fast on the path. It's very, very important that you maintain your heart. So now you know your way, but you want to maintain yourself on that way. And throughout the surah, you will find those advices. From the beginning, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us, الحي القيوم نزل عليك الكتاب بالحق مصدقا لما بين يديه. He's the one who revealed on you the book with truth. So do not hesitate. You should be firm on that. And then he's telling you, إن الدين عند الله الإسلام. شهد الله أنه لا إله إلا هو. ومن يبتغي غير الإسلام دينا فلن يقبل منه. All of these ayat to make you proud and make you hold firm on your deen. There's nothing better than this. That's the religion that be chosen by Allah for you. And if you select or choose something else, you are going to go astray. Allah is telling you, اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. Fear Allah as supposed to be and do not die unless in the state of Islam. واعتصموا بحبل الله جميعا ولا تفرقوا. So all the way is Allah is telling you. Until even the end of the surah, He will tell you, you're going to be tested in your deen. لَتُبْلَوُنَّ فِي أَمْوَالِكُمْ وَأَنفُسِكُمْ. You are going to be tested, but you have to hold firmly to the last ayah. By the way, this surah contains 200 ayah. To the last ayah, Allah said, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا اصْبِرُوا وَصَابِرُوا وَرَابِطُوا وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ. O believers, you maintain your patience. And you advise each other with patience. And you be ready to stand against anything that might shift you away. And fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you are going to be successful at the end. وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ. So you see that the ayat from the beginning to the end, how tells you you have to maintain what you already been honored, what you already have. You have to feel proud of it and you maintain it. This surah contains two main incident. In the first 120 ayah, approximately, Allah is talking about the delegation of Najran, Ahlul Najran, where a group of Christians came from a place in Najran, and nowadays it's in the south of Saudi. It's a part of Yemen at that time. They came from that area. And the Prophet ﷺ hosted them in his masjid, and there's kind of a dialogue that happened, and actually even debate. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala recorded that from the beginning of the surah almost toward the 2/3 of it. And the other ayat, you might talk about 60 plus ayat, Allah is talking about what happened during the Uhud battle. The first part of the surah that's dealing with the internal challenges and maintaining the aqidah and fixing your thought. And the other part is talking about the external one, and at the same time, how you defeat your enemies and how you maintain the actions. So how you maintain your intention, your aqidah, your thought, your inner, and how you maintain your outer and your actions. And both are related. And both, that's what you need. You don't want the inner defeat or outer defeat. Imagine if your aqidah been shaking. That's a major loss. That's worse than losing one battle or one fight. And that's why it's very important. There are two kinds of battles. You're fighting your negative thought, you're fighting your enemies, those that try to poison your mind. In the same time, you're fighting your enemies that they are after you and they want to destroy you. So this surah, how you stand for yourself and for your deen. And this surah suggesting tools how you can do that. The first of the tools that we have seen connecting yourself with Allah, supplicating to Him, making more dua. And we see through the ayat. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. So you ask Allah not to shift after being guided. You will see the dua of Zakaria. You see the dua of the mother of the Mary. You see the dua at the end when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said ربنا إننا سمعنا مناديا ينادي للإيمان أن آمنوا بربكم فآمنا. So you connect yourself with Allah because you are inquiring the power from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's your tools. So do not forget that. One of the dua the Prophet loves to say, إن القلوب بين أصبعين من أصابع الرحمن يقلبهما كيف يشاء فاللهم يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلبي على دينك. The heart are between the two fingers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he flip it in the way he like. And the Prophet used to say, "Oh Allah, maintain my heart. Oh Allah, maintain my heart to steadfast in your deen. Allahumma ya muqallib al-qulub, thabbit qalbi ala dini." So do not forget that. Do not say it's my power, I could defeat my enemies. No, He's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who will help you in that. So that is really important as the first tools that you will inquire. Second, you commit for your duties and your ibadah. Without committing for that, you're not going to achieve your goal. You cannot just make a dua without making the effort. And it's very important that you will see through the ayat what is your duties. You have to fulfill all the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. قُلْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهَ فَاتَّبِعُونِي يُحْبِبْكُمُ اللَّهُ وَيَغْفِرْ لَكُمْ ذُنُوبَكُمْ. If you claim that you love Allah, then follow me. That's in the ayah. وَأَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُوا الرَّسُولَ وَأَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَالرَّسُولَ لَعَلَّكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ. There are commands that you have to practice. وَسَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ وَجَنَّةٍ. So you have to do all those duties, because when you do more ibadah, Allah will help you to maintain your heart. So the ibadah will make you stronger. Any act of worship that pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, any act that pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's an act of worship. And one of the main tools actually to maintain your heart, to call to the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is psychology, when you are involved in a matter and you are at the front line, you are going to be stronger. You are not backwards, you are in the front line. And you're standing for da'wah. And that's why many ayat in the surah mentioning that. وَلْتَكُمْ مِنْكُمْ أُمَّةٌ. There are a group of you, they should stand for da'wah. And كُنْتُمْ خَيْرَ أُمَّةٌ. And why is that? Allah mentioned the reason. You be the best of the nation, and mentioned the reason. Because you call to the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You do the good and forbid the evil. So it's very important. Through the ayat, you will see this as a tools for you to maintain your heart. Another important tools that to be working together in a jama'ah, to be with the jama'ah. وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. Hold firmly on the robe of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and do not dispute. Do not obey those they want to try to divide you. As mentioned in many ayat in the Quran, يَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا إِن تُطِيعُوا فَرِيقًا مِّنَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ يَرُدُّكُمْ بَعْدَ إِيمَانِكُمْ كَافِرِينَ يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا إِن تُطِيعُوا الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا يَرُدُّكُمْ عَلَى أَعْقَابِكُمْ فَتَنْقَلِبُوا خَاسِرِينَ. So there are many advices in there. Do not follow the path of those they try to divide you and return you back to the darkness. So that's another tool that's really important. And the last of those tools, that to have a clear target. You have a goal in there. And you will see the reminder of that through the ayat of the surah. So the surah, it's a beautiful surah that's telling you how you are as a Muslim, you should really hold firmly on your deen. Now, there's other things really important to know in order to maintain your heart. The surah tells you what is the defect, from where the problems comes. why people are shifting away. So the surah suggesting that for you, one of the main reasons, following your desires. And that's why from the beginning Allah said, زُيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ حُبُّ الشَّهَوَاتِ. زُيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ حُبُّ الشَّهَوَاتِ. That's part of us, that to love all that desires. But you have to know how you control yourself. قُلْ أُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِخَيْرٍ مِّن ذَلِكُمْ. Shall I tell you with something better than all of that? So you're shifting yourself away. So why people shifting from the right way? Because of their desires. Shahawat. Allah mentioned one of the main reasons why being defeated in the battle of Uhud. منكم من يريد الدنيا ومنكم من يريد الآخرة. Some of you, they love dunya, they want dunya. And others, they are seeking akhirah. And Allah said, حَتَّى إِذَا فَشِلْتُمْ وَتَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ وَعَصَيْتُمْ. So that's the reason being defeated. So that's one of the major things, that to have desires and that desires controlling you. Our desires are our motivation, and we are the one should control it. But in the case that your desires is controlling you, that's the time you start shifting away. And think of it. That's really, something clear and obvious. The second point that actually might shift you, the division among you. حتى إذا فشلتم وتنازعتم في الأمر. You are not working together. And your strength, it will come from your unity. The time you start divided, the time you lose that. So you have to value your brotherhood and sisterhood and working together. Otherwise, you're not going to be successful. And again, with taqwa and patience, you are going to come over all of that. وَإِن تَصْبِرُوا وَتَتَّقُوا تَصْبِرُوا وَتَتَّقُوا. It was mentioned, those terms, more than any other surah. وَإِن تَصْبِرُوا وَتَتَّقُوا. You be patient and you fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. تَصْبِرُوا وَتَتَّقُوا. Subhanallah. If you have those qualities, inshallah, you defeat all your enemies, the inner one and the outer one. And the first part is talking about the inner enemies and the other one about outer enemies. But both of them, they have one goal, to take you away from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is a beautiful surah. And this surah named after Ali Imran. Ali Imran. And who was mentioned among Ali Imran? The wife of Imran and the daughter of Imran. The wife and the daughter. And you see now the connection. Because the wife of Imran was striving for excellence and was hoping to support Baytul Maqdis and to bring a child to continue the good deed that supporting the true religion. And while the child in her womb, she said, I donated in the sake of Allah. And she asked Allah to accept her. And Maryam alayhi salam is a true example. Do you know what it means for a pure lady that would be accused with fornication or with adultery? That's killing her. But Allah is putting her in the test, and she stood up for that. It was not that easy for her. And actually, she wished to die. يا ليتني مت قبل هذا وكنت نسيا منسيا. I wish if I died before all of that happened. It was not that easy. But Allah maintained her heart. So when you remember the mother of Mary, you remember Mary itself, you will know that family, how they will hold firmly in their deen, and Allah give them the path to stay fast. And you will say to yourself, what's your excuse? Usually we say the women are the weak part of the society. That's what we say, you know. No. When the women with the Iman and Taqwa, you will see the strength. So you have no excuse. With the Iman and Taqwa, that's what you need, and you have the strength. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the example of the strength with women. It's not even with the men. And even when He mentioned the example of the believers in other surah, He said, وَضَرَبَ اللَّهُ مَثَلًا لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, and mentioned two women, the wife of Pharaoh and Maryam alayhi salam. وَضَرَبَ اللَّهُ مَثَلًا لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا امْرَأَةَ فِرْعَوْنَ, and then Allah said, وَمَرْيَمْ. So the women, when they have Iman and Sabr and they've been devoted to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will grant them a strength and Allah will maintain their hearts. So this is what Surah Al Imran telling us. You have enemies, you have problems, but with Iman and Taqwa, you are going to defeat all of that. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us all, and may Allah maintain our heart. Allahumma ya muqallib al-qulubi thabbit qalbi ala dinik. Allahumma ya muqallib al-qulubi thabbit qalbi ala dinik. Ameen. Subhanak Allahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.